today is not just another meeting. It is a celebration of courage, growth, persistence, and transformation. 300 meetings ago, this community began with a simple purpose: to create a safe space where people who stutter could speak, grow, and support one another. And today, we are all standing here as proof of how powerful that vision truly is. To make this milestone even more special, we have invited a panel of CSS who will be sharing not only their speech journeys, but also their personal experiences with StopStutter. They'll be sharing about their struggles, the breakthroughs they have experienced, and the lessons they learned along the way. Each journey is unique. Some stories may make you emotional, some may inspire you, and some may remind you that progress is possible no matter where you currently are in your journey. But one thing all these stories have in common is hope, because behind every fluent sentence is a person who once struggled to even say a word. Behind every confident speaker is someone who once doubted themselves. And behind every success story is persistence, practice, and the courage to keep going despite fear. So today, let's celebrate not perfection, but progress. Thank you all for being part of this beautiful community, and let us begin this very special 300th SAM meeting. I would love to call upon our CSS Javier to share his speech journey with StopStutter.
All right, so now I'm going to start speaking a bit about my journey. Well, just like most of you here, I began to stutter at a very young age, at around the age of 5 or so. And at the as soon as my family noticed I began to stutter, I went to seek the help of SLPs, psychologists, doctors, and I did that for many years. If I'm not mistaken, until the age of 20 or 22. And for all those years, I tried, I would say, almost everything there is out there. But actually, as the years, as I got older, my speech got worse. Until I got to a point in which, and I know that Coach Lee can affirm this, I've been a very severe case. I would block and stutter on every single word I would say with my family, my friends, on the phone, strangers, everywhere, except if I was alone. And all those years, I felt alone. I had never met anyone with the same problem as I did. And when I was around the age of 20, for all those years, I had lost hope. I got to a point which I accepted that this is gonna be the rest of my life. Stuttering, being alone, being depressed, anxious. I used to have very few friends. I did not have the hope to have a girlfriend or anything of that sort. And then a few years after that, back in 2018, I found by chance Coach Lee's books. And I said, okay, I'm gonna just give it a go. After all, it's a book. So in the worst of cases, I'm gonna lose the cost of the book and some of my time, which is okay. And as soon as I started to read the book, at last I found a person who understood me, who described exactly my thoughts, my fears, everything. And at last, I started to have hope. And just by that, by starting to feel hope, my speech improved. Of course, I still blogged, I still stuttered, but a lot less. Then I started to apply the crutches and all the things that Coach Lee explained there. And I've got to say, my speech improved. My speech continued to improve, but I still appear speech disabled. So, as Coach Lee said in his book, I got in touch. I sent an email to Lee, and Coach Lee and I started to meet every week. And after some time, a few months, I became a PWSS. Then after that, Coach Lee asked me if I would like to join him. And just like he gave me some sessions, he asked me if I would like to do the same with other PWS. And of course, I did accept. And after that, my life began to change completely. I started to be fluent, enjoy conversations, to make more friends. Now I don't know if you can see it here. I achieved the thing that I thought I would never do. I got married, and now, well, the goal that I've got over here is to be here in this community, to be an important part of this community, and to help all the PWS that I can. So yeah, that is my journey and my goal over here.
Fantastic, Javi. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing that. Up next, I would like to call upon our COO, Sebastian.
Thank you. And thanks, Javi, for those excellent words. He actually was a coach to me, actually. So I started with Coach Lee as a coach for the first 5 sessions, and then I went to Javi and had a additional 10, I think, that were in 2018 now. So yeah, Javi is an excellent coach, of course. Yeah, well, my case, I think, is an interesting one because I've been obsessed with fluency for all of my life, right? Since I was 8, I loved books. I love to talk with people, to share ideas, to exchange thoughts. But I felt that I couldn't, right? I felt that I had this thing that managed my whole being, like what could I say, what I couldn't say. It was something that consumed my every thought. So I tried in the beginning to learn about it as much as I could, right? Like I read like actual books for academics at age 12 or something, like these huge dense books, like extremely boring, to try and understand what's happening and what's going on. So I've tried everything, and when I say everything, I've tried a stuttering modification, malwire, fluency fluency shaping. I've tried like all the different methods, and I've been at each step of the method, between the spectrum between acceptance and fluency. I've tried all of it basically, and I kind of was forced to believe that the only path through is acceptance, right? Because there's a thing that I cannot improve. It's something that I have to learn to live with, and just that's it basically, right? And the reality in my case is that it was something that I couldn't do because I have my nature is someone that wants to improve all the time, right? Be it in sports, be it in things. I want to get better and better and better. So this kind of belief or premise, it didn't sit well with me. But that was what the expert said. So I said, okay, fine, it's something that I have to deal with. But then I had a very bad day as an intern lawyer. Actually, I studied law and I worked as an intern at a firm, and I had to present a case to a client, right? And it honestly was a disaster. Like I couldn't speak for a very long time. Like I blocked in each word. my boss and the boss's boss stepped in and took over, and I was like, oh my God, like I've chosen a career that I can't do basically. And this thing about acceptance of, okay, it's nice in fantasy world, but in real world, there's a lot of things that I have to achieve to express myself. And yeah, like it's something that I have to improve. So out of an act of despair, actually, I went to Google and I tried, to how can I improve my speech? Not just manage it, but improve it. And then I found Lee's book. And in the beginning, I was extremely uh, how do I put this on a mild way? Re- Reluctant skeptic about Lee's claims in the books. Well, like, yeah, this doesn't sound right, etc., etc. I've learned that this doesn't work, etc. But then on one of the first chapters, I found a thing that blew my mind completely, which is if my default manner of speech is a stutter speech with a lot of repetitions, a lot of blocks, etc., that is now my normal speech, right? So fluency is a habit, like stuttering is a habit. So if I don't speak in a consistent way, in a fluent voice, how can I expect fluency? And of course, the answer is it's impossible, right? So that first claim, I thought, okay, this actually makes a lot of sense. Then I kept at it. I read it extremely fast in a week or so, and it's a huge book of 800 pages. And yeah, and I then emailed Lee and started in the program. And the reason why I'm expressing this long story is because I don't trust a lot in people. Like I feel that trust is something that is earned actually, and a sense, and I feel that if I do something and it doesn't work, I I stop doing it and I say, okay, I'll then try a different thing and a different thing and a different thing until I find a thing that actually works. And I've kind of changed around the different methods and I've tried all of them. And I've started with StopStutter since 2018. No, and even more than that, not just as a member, but also as a CSS, now as a COO, because it's something that does work, that takes effort. Yes, of course, takes effort. It is hard work, yes. It doesn't mean that your speech is cured in the sense that there isn't the impulse to block, etc. No, but the difference between me and I think others, when I came in the program, that I honestly couldn't speak a sentence without a lot of choppiness or a lot of blocks, and now it's night and day. I still like under pressure, anxiety, feel the blocks. Yes, of course I do, but now I have the tools to manage them and speak, I think, in a fluent and effective way. And I think that that's at the end of the day the important thing, more than fluency itself, is being an effective speaker and going from a fear of speech to loving to speak. And I think that's the thing I've learned here. And for that, to Lee and Dean and Javi and Prathush and all of us, I'm extremely, extremely, extremely grateful. So thank you for that. Thank you, Prathush.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. That was inspiring. Let's move on to our next speaker. Let's call upon CSS Danny.
Thank you for that, Princess Pratusha. So I just want to briefly share how this amazing program changed my life. For many years, stuttering controlled almost everything I did. I constantly feared speaking situations, overthought conversations, switched words, etc. I became mentally exhausted trying to hide it from others. Even though I could speak perfectly fine alone, the moment I had to speak around people, fear and anticipation would sometimes take over. I spent years believing that maybe my speech would eventually improve on its own, but it never did. I even tried speech therapy once back in 2019, hoping it would finally help me become fluent again, and I felt that was a complete waste of time. Afterwards, I felt even more stuck, frustrated, and discouraged because nothing truly changed my mindset around speaking. Everything changed for me in late 2022 when I discovered Lee Lovett's book, How to Stop Stuttering and Love Speaking, the Holy Bible to Stopping Stuttering, and eventually the Stop Stutter program itself. For the first time in my life, I felt understood by people who actually knew what it was like to struggle with stuttering mentally and emotionally every single day. What made the program different for me was that it focused not only on speech, but also on the mind. I learned that overcoming stuttering is not just about techniques. It's about changing the way you think and speak to yourself internally. The daily mind training, positive affirmations, speech club meetings, the one-on-one therapy session videos, and support from others in this amazing community completely changed my perspective on speaking. I immersed myself fully into the program. I practiced every single day for hours on end, stayed consistent, and most importantly, trusted the process. Slowly but surely, I began noticing changes not only in my speech, but in my confidence, my mindset, and my overall happiness. The greatest thing Stop Stutter gave me was hope. It showed me that improvement was possible and that I did not have to let stuttering define the rest of my life. It also gave me a purpose bigger than myself. Today, I'm proud to help other people who stutter through one-on-one therapy sessions, the practice sessions, consultations, and outreach because I know exactly how isolating and painful this struggle can feel. Looking back, joining Stop Stutter was one of the most important decisions I've ever made in my life. It didn't just help me improve my speech, it helped me change my entire outlook on life. Thank you.
That was amazing, Danny. What a wonderful journey you've had with StopStutter. All right, please. Yes. Cindy, the floor is yours, Cindy.
Thanks for the opportunity to speak at the 300th SAM meeting. I'm truly honored. Good day. My name is Cindy, and I live in Arizona. For more than 60 years, I was a stutterer. Every phone call, meeting, or even simple sentence felt like walking into battle. I knew exactly what I wanted to say, but my mouth simply wouldn't say it. I hated that I stuttered. In fact, I avoided everything connected to stuttering. I never Googled it, never read about it. And I only went to therapy when I was forced by my parents, by college, and by work. Why? Because I truly believed I could never stop. I had been told that stuttering was a lifelong disorder, something I would simply have to manage and accept forever. So I accepted it. And I learned to survive with it. I was fortunate to be intelligent, driven, and determined. I rose into leadership roles at 2 major companies, leading organizations of hundreds of people, all while stuttering my way through every single day. Behind the success was a lifetime of fear, exhaustion, and shame, because stuttering does not just affect your speech. It affects your confidence, your relationships, your happiness, and how you see yourself every day of your life. Today, I want to dedicate this talk to my friend Samantha from Arizona, because without Samantha, I would still be stuttering. Last year, her mother introduced us because we both stuttered. and I began mentoring her. I remember thinking, I do not want this young woman to suffer the way that I did. So together we started searching for answers and found the neuroscience method, the Bible. For the first time, I realized stuttering was not a lifelong disorder. It was a deeply learned habit. My brain was wired to stutter. Using the same drive and determination that carried me through my career, I fully committed myself to the program. And within months, I went from stuttering Cindy to fluency Cindy. It was unbelievable. I cannot begin to express my gratitude to my hero, Coach Lee Levitt, the neuroscience method, and the extraordinary StopStutter community. They did not just help me change my speech, they helped me discover freedom, confidence, and true joy in life. My mission now is simple. I want every person who stutters to know that stuttering is not a lifetime disorder. It is a habit, and habits can be changed. The 1-2-3 punch works. Just look at the hundreds of success stories on the app. And if I can find fluency and freedom after more than 60 years of stuttering, there is hope for everyone. So thank you very much, and happy 300 SAM meeting to all. Thank you all.
Wow, Cindy, that was amazing. You were just Cindy perfect. All right, let's move on to the next speaker, Noah.
Thank you, Patricia. So there's, of course, a lot I could say, way more to fill the short amount of time that I want to take up here. I joined WSSA in 2024 in June. I just looked it up. My first SAM meeting was actually number 204. So yeah, and I don't think I've missed many. I've maybe missed 5 in total, maximum. It was when Nico gave his speech update, July 20th, 2024. When I joined, I was very severe. Yeah, started stuttering and I was 3.5. Full body and facial contortions, oftentimes for up to a minute if my breath was good that day, just until my breath ran out, which was deeply unpleasant, as anyone who has stuttered knows, and the other people can imagine. I also, like the other speakers, or like many other speakers, had tried anything under the sun that was available. And there came a time when I was about 20 where I had exhausted all of those options after like 17 years of in and out of therapy. Tried acceptance for a while, but like Sebastian, I quickly realized that acceptance, yeah, doesn't really help you all that much if you're still struggling so much and you cannot accept away 20 regularly, being in situations where you feel like you're suffocating for 20 seconds. That's not fun for anybody. So in 2024, when my speech had gotten worse again, it was always an up and down, I searched for methods and made a post on Reddit. And then I received a message from Danny, who recommended me a book. And it had been years since I had last read a book on stuttering, because I thought, well, it was always unsatisfying, because I always felt like when I read a book on stuttering, it's like some parts were true, but I always felt like they're missing the point. I feel like I know more than the person writing the book in terms of the experience. Now with Lee's book, How to Stop Stuttering and Love Speaking, that was different. I read it, and with every page I was, oh, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. Right? And yeah, even though I hadn't really had time to apply the methods, just by the sheer amount of hope that I encountered while reading it, my speech instantly got better. And then, of course, I started really working on the crutches and I was able to transform it into a long-lasting thing. And it's been a great journey. I wrote my Stopped Stuttering story on April 28th, 2025, held my first SAM talk on August 16th, 2025, and then became a CSS January 27th of this year. Honestly, every part of it has transformed my life, and it's just gave me back power. I am now really in control of my speech, and I just kind of want to highlight two things. First of all, really, if I can do it, you can too. I I'm pretty sure you cannot get much worse than how I was. And even you are slightly worse, it doesn't matter. You can do it with enough patience and consistency. And I mean, patience goes for yourself as well, mostly, right? You need to give yourself time. You're changing a habit. That will take time, right? And also, I just want to highlight as well, I think what really makes this program stand out majorly is the community. Everyone is lifting each other up constantly. We have such a great support system. We have many different avenues where people link up and practice, whether it's in an official group practice session or if it's through organizing through the WhatsApp chat. It's so beautiful. And me personally, I know that I would not be where I am if it wasn't for the community. I I can pinpoint dozens of situations where I would have given up if the other people had not given me hope because I had seen them progress and just a very beautiful thing. I will cut it off here since I will have a Sam talk next month, so I'm saving the rest for my Sam talk. Thank you.
Great job, Noah. Your journey is nothing short of incredible. Thank you so much. Next, I would like to call upon our CSS, Amoris.
Thanks, Prathusha. What's up, friends? My name is Amoris. I'm 30 years old, and I live in New Jersey. I joined StopStutter in early 2025. I wrote my Stop Stuttering story last September, gave my SAM speech in January, and I'm ecstatic to now officially be a part of the CSS team as of this week. I hold this program and community so close to my heart for helping me overcome stuttering that I have to pay it forward by joining the mission of helping rid the world of stuttering. Growing up, I was a happy and disciplined kid. I loved to study hard in school to get good grades and practicing consistently in baseball so that I could hit plenty of home runs. My logical mind was very used to putting in the work so that I could see results. What I struggled with most as a stutterer was that I never had a way to work towards fluency. Every speech therapist that I met with advised me to just accept my stutter until I came across a beautiful coaching video on YouTube between Coach Lee and Yassine, where I learned that stuttering is simply a habit that we can choose to change right now by adopting a very simple speaking style that avoids just forcing words, speaking slower, speaking softer, in short increments, with full stops, and tying your words together. Learning that I can't block when there are no gaps between my words just made so much sense. Crutches 4 and 10 have been absolutely dynamite for me against stuttering. I love relating this speech journey to a fitness journey, just since it's so crucial to focus on your form and technique, for example, before you lift heavy weights, right? And that's why we exaggerate the crutches in practice sessions so much, and while we read aloud before we enter higher and higher pressure situations, like adding weights, you know? And the daily mind training is like our healthy diet, feeding and strengthening our brains with positivity, and any slacking off or cheat meals only slows down that progress. So imagine how buff we would be if we exercised for nearly 24/7, right? Now imagine how great of speakers we would all be by sticking to the 1, 2, 3 punch 24/7. At that point, it's not even about will you achieve fluency, only a matter of when. So I just urge everyone to please stay the course and let's all achieve fluency together. Thank you, everyone.
Wow, what an amazing story, Amoris. All right. Next, it's my turn to speak. So I'll start. I've always remembered myself as a person who had the potential, but someone who was incapable of expressing that potential through words, right? So growing up, stuttering affected almost every aspect of my life. I've had several humiliating experiences during school where I was mocked, imitated, and made to feel small because of the way I spoke. And the most painful part was that even my own stepfather imitated my stutter. And that broke my heart because parents are supposed to stand by your side, not make you feel worse. My childhood was not a pleasant experience, as most of you know my story already. And all of that emotional stress only intensified my stuttering. And for many years, I truly believed my life would remain limited because of my speech. And then in 2017, I met Coach Lee through Facebook. Meeting Coach Lee completely changed my life. He did not just help me improve my fluency, he gave me hope, confidence, the courage to dream bigger than I ever thought possible. If not for this man and this program, I would probably have stayed in India working a regular job, believing that stuttering had already defined my limits. I would never have imagined a bigger future for myself, that's for sure. But today, I stand here, I live in Germany, working at Ernst & Young, one of the big four firms, and I could not be more proud of how far I've come. What makes me even happier is that I never left this community. From the very beginning, when it was called Speech Anxiety Cures, then World Stop Stuttering Association, then World Stop Stuttering Academy, and now StopStutter Inc. I stayed with this program because I truly believed in it. And watching this organization evolve so beautifully has been inspiring. And what amazes me the most is Coach Lee's altruism, his dedication towards helping people who stutter. Today, my next milestone is public speaking. Even though opportunities in Germany are limited because most speaking environments here are in German, I still make it a point to speak up during meetings at work. I prepare well, I apply the crutches, and I keep pushing myself forward. And one of the beautiful things about StopStutter is the support system, right? People here are encouraging, supportive. They genuinely care for you. Whether it's the WhatsApp groups, the FOF challenges, the SAM meetings, the group practice session. This community is truly special. We are probably one of the only communities in the world where former stutterers actively help stutterers achieve fluency through neuroscience method. And this is something historic, you know. And every single time I help someone improve their speech, the happiness I feel is immeasurable. It gives my life purpose. So my mission is simple: to continue growing, continue helping others, and continue being part of this incredible movement that is changing lives. Thank you so much, Coach Lee, and thank you to the entire StopStutter team. You are truly incredible, and I'm deeply grateful to be part of this family. Finally, I just want to say something from the bottom of my heart to everyone here tonight. If you are part of this community, please know this: you're in the right place. You have come to the right program. This journey is real. The fluency is absolutely possible. But like every meaningful transformation in life, it requires patience, consistency, and hard work. There could be many moments where you could stumble or block, but please don't see those moments as failures. See them as stepping stone towards success. Analyze, why did you force the word instead of applying a speech tool? Every challenge is shaping you, strengthening you, and teaching you something valuable. So celebrate every single fluency victory, even the smallest ones. Sometimes a single fluent sentence, just a phone call, or speaking without fear is already a huge victory worth celebrating. And most importantly, forgive yourself. Please don't be too hard on yourself if you make a mistake or have a rough day. Progress is never perfectly linear. What truly matters is that you keep moving forward. Focus on how far you've come. Stay with the program, trust the process, keep showing up, keep practicing, keep believing. And one day, I truly hope every single one of you will be able to say that you didn't just overcome stuttering. You transformed it into a blessing that made you stronger, wiser, more compassionate than ever before. Thank you all for being a part of this incredible 300th SAM Meet. I guess I'm done, so I'll pass the mic to Coach Lee.
This is a wonderful meeting. I'll say a few things here and open it up for other comments. I'm humbled by all the kind words. I didn't do this for money, and I didn't do this for praise. I did it because I struggled, and it was a horrible experience. And I wanted to do what I knew would help other people. So there's some other things I would add, but don't we want to get are there any comments that you want to pick up before we close the meeting?
If anyone has any comments, please feel free to raise your hands and I'll call on you. Yes, Amaka, please go ahead. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much, Patricia, for this opportunity. And I just want to say to every speaker, every CSS, congratulations. All of you have always been a source of inspiration, not just to me, but to everyone. And I would like to especially thank Danny because he was the one that reached out to me. He was like he was at the start of my own fluency journey, and hearing his story all over again, I've heard it a couple of times, but hearing it again is just so beautiful to know that, he overcame everything that he overcame. And I just wanted to say congratulations and thank you for sharing your amazing story. Everyone, thank you very much.
You sound amazing, Amaka. Thank you so much. Next, I would like to call upon Rawlings.
I just want to say I'm super proud of everybody here. that spoke today. I'm super proud, man. I wish I can also be a CSS coach, but I have so much going on right now. I wouldn't want to put that on myself, but I feel indebted to World Stop Stutter Inc. I didn't know until today that it's now incorporated. That is awesome and amazing. I feel so happy and so lucky to be here because stuttering is a pain that you have to live with. Until I joined the World Stop Stutter Association and now incorporated, I thought I would have to deal with this pain alone. That is the sorry part about life, thinking that you have to deal with it alone. But with this organization, knowing that there are people that are wearing the same shoes that you are wearing, and knowing that you have support, it's a big win. It's like 50% of the fight. It's a big win. So at that point, all we're doing is coming up, showing up every day, working to build brick by brick. It's not going to be a flip of a switch and then boom, you're fluent. No, you have to build from 50%, you build all the way up to your fluency. The goal is to speak without fear, to speak without thinking about your speech, just to speak. And it's amazing because the feeling I get from thinking about a topic opposed to thinking about how I will sound or how I will look and how funny I will look, pausing a word, fumbling over my words, to switch from thinking that way to just speaking and thinking about how can I pass this message in a way that is effective to people. I'm not worrying about, oh, how are people going to see me? How am I going to mess up? You know, it's amazing. And I want to just say thank you to everybody, to the community for always being here and growing the community into what it is now. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much, Rawlings. It's always one speaking moment at a time, right? So great. You sound amazing, Rawlings.
Yes, I just couldn't miss this opportunity to say congratulations to the entire organization and especially my father for 300 consecutive SAM meetings. The achievement is nothing short of remarkable, and I think it really underscores the passion and the dedication and the commitment that this community has to helping the world stutters. And again, especially my father. He started doing this over, well, let me see, almost 6 years ago. Every single Saturday, come rain or shine, whether he felt well or felt sick. He may have missed one meeting out of 300, if that. But the commitment to stutterers globally, to be there like a rock every single Saturday to provide support and guidance and love and encouragement is just incredible. I would be surprised if any other stuttering organization has ever done this before. So congratulations, Dad, and everyone. And what an incredible achievement. And hey, let's reach the world's 80 million stutterers.
Thank you, Prathusha, for a wonderful job again today, as always.
Thank you so much, Coach Lee. It's time to close our meeting. I hope that you enjoyed exchanging thoughts with ex-stutterers and those fast becoming ex-stutterers. I will now end this session with our motto. Feel free to say it along with me. If you can say one word anywhere, anytime, then you can say and love to say any word, anywhere, anytime. Have a great weekend. We'll meet next Saturday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Unlock your voice with StopStutter.